Well, those conkers sure are bonkers, but maybe their suggestion is not so crazy. So as the horse's chestnuts have revealed themselves, we are going to take advantage of the high load of saponins that are in these balls and try to make a soap. And well, I thought it would be quite interesting to see if we could scour a fleece with this naturally made soap. And well, you know, the best way to test if a fleece is thoroughly scoured is by dyeing it. And well, we're just going to use the entirety of the horse's chestnut and use the peels for a dye. What do you say about that? Let's get cracking, literally. So first we're going to separate the chestnuts from their peels because we need them for two separate parts of this project. I have brought both my nutcracker, which is in the form of scissors over here, and a knife, because I actually don't know what the easiest way is to crack a chestnut. I'm not a fan of regular, like the edible chestnuts, so we'll just see. Also, these are way too much chestnuts to make soap in one go, because the chestnut soap only lasts for a week before it gets, I don't know, rancid. But we will still cut these open and let them dry so that we can make more soap in the future. Anyway, let's go for it. Going to hammer them in submission. I'm also here down on the floor because I don't want to be hammering on my fancy new to me table, because mostly there is still not the adhesive to attach the top to the legs. Floor hammering it is. You know, I have been having very stressful months over at my day job, so this is cathartic. I feel like this ought to be more than enough for our intents and purposes in this video here. Let's make soap! Or well, technically it's laundry detergent, but you know, soap, saponins, soap. I have put my crushed up chestnuts in hot water. It doesn't say the tutorial that I'm following that it should be boiling water, but I have put the pot of hot water on my little stove over here, not on the highest setting, but just that it stays warm, because it needs to steep for, or well, steep, it needs to steep for quite a while. Some people like blend their chestnuts and then it should only be like half an hour or something, but I didn't want to put toxic shit in my blender, so we're just going to let it steep longer. Yeah, sounds like a plan, and even if it doesn't, we're still going to do it. Really looks like a witch's brew, doesn't it? Ooh. There are soap bubbles! Look! Bubbles! It's bubbles! Mm-hmm. So we have started this very scientific experiment at 9 o'clock this morning. It is now 2:30 in the afternoon. I'm going to say that this is enough steeping. The liquid should be creamy and milky, which it is, though not the kind of milk that I would drink because it's a bit greenish. yellowish, but yeah, it's probably a good color for soap. Let's strain out the chestnuts and then divide our soap in containers. So I've got some glass jars, but also a hand soap container that I rinsed out, which I think will be, I don't know, cool to have my own soap in a hand soap container. A little spouty thing to make a little bit less of a mess. Let's do this. There still is a bit in the pot, and I think maybe that is about the amount we'll use for scouring fleece. So I grabbed a bit of fleece from my stash of Flemish sheep. This fleece has quite some canarying on it. Damn, that's like knee in yellow almost. We'll see what that does when we get to the dyeing point in this video, but for now, let's see if our chestnut soap can scour this baby. That is looking quite white, or at least as white as such a canary fleece will go. So I'm going to rinse this out with some clear water and then put a mordant in there as well. Meanwhile, it's actually almost 5 o'clock in the evening, which means that I have been working on this and, well, some other projects for almost an entire workday. No regrets. I would do that all day, every day, if I could. But YouTube doesn't pay the bills yet. Anyway, let's get on to our final step in this very scientific experiment, the dyeing. Let's put this pot of chestnuts on the boil, or well, maybe not boil, but simmer, and then we'll add the mordanted fluff in it. And you know, see whether it's scoured thoroughly. This is not just an excuse to try and dye with chestnut husks. No, not at all. Of course it is. I want to know what color it gives. I mean, it looks interesting. I want to dye with it. Can you blame me? No, you can't. Of course you can't. Hello, 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 hello. Darkness, my old friend. About 24 hours have elapsed since I last saw you. And what I did in the meantime is, well, go to work, of course. But also, since my husband and his band needed this studio to practice, I have put my chestnut husks and the wool together in the dye pot and then let it simmer on low heat overnight. I haven't lifted the lid yet, so I don't know what the results are. I'm taking you with me on this strange journey. Come along. Drum rolls, please. Aha, but, you know, I have tied a little acrylic tie to a bit of fluff that I had scoured with normal soap and then more than it before as a kind of control. So as we see, the control is full of chestnut husks and is yellow. It's quite yellow. I actually had expected more of a brown color, but then again, just as with walnuts, actually the best time to dye with those husks is when they're still green. Mine are decidedly not green. So here we go, a pale yellow. That's the control. Now see what the chestnut dyed fluff looks like. Chestnut dyed? Yeah, it's chestnut dyed, but also chestnut scoured. That's of course what I meant. Yep, that's yellow as well, fairly similar. I have just rinsed them with a bit of water. Let's put them in a salad spinner to dry so that we can if my salad spinner once. The patent for this is apparently still pending, so I hope they made a better system. Moulinex do better, especially like vintage Moulinex. I hope you did better. There is a bug, and I am hoping this is not a fiber moth. In any case, I'm sorry, normally I wouldn't hurt a fly, but this bug is going to die. Let's see what my app has to say about this creature. Phew, it's only just a roach. Still disgusting. It looked beige and shiny, so yeah. Anyway, where were we? Here we go. To, well, still slightly damp, but rinsed and dried fluffs. And they are a slightly different shade of yellow. I don't know if the camera picks it up, but this is more like a colder toned yellow, more like lemon yellow, while this is a very warm yellow. Maybe some of the canarying has to do with it, I don't know. They're both as vibrant. So anyway, we can conclude this experiment by saying that yes, you can perfectly scour a sheep's fleece up until dyeing quality with homemade ecological chestnut soap. Anyway, that's all for me for this video. If you like these kind of fiber shenanigans, then maybe you could like, comment or subscribe, but of course that is all up to you. And as for me, I will see you in a next video, and maybe you could watch some more dyeing experiments. Bye!